Well, after the bombs being dropped on Japan in World War II, the concept that you would believe in the past would be anachronistic and a little bit strange. I mean, you have to believe in the future. You have to do something that's new. So an entire generation of artists, called the Gutai movement, of which Shiraga was really the leader of that pack, decided that they were going to stage an avant-garde movement seeking to take the rules of traditional painting, of traditional image making, and absolutely destroy and remake the rules of how paintings are made. Shiraga was probably the most innovative and radical of them. In his studio, he would suspend a rope from the ceiling. He would create grips on the rope where he could hang on with his arms clenching tight and paint with his feet. So like Pollock, who took his canvases and took them off the easel or off the wall and moved them onto the floor and painted on the floor, so too was Shiraga doing that, but suspending his body like a kind of pendulum from the ceiling of his studio. The manner by which a Shiraga painting is made is really like a performance art piece in and of itself, where he uses his body as a vehicle in art making, as if his body were the paintbrush, as if his feet were the bristles of the paintbrush.
So gutai means, gu means concreteness, and tai in Japanese means body. So their principle was to pursue the relationship between body and matter and use their bodies to express their feelings and inside of their emotions. So they're really one of the first Asian avant-garde movements that explored that relationship just beyond brushes and canvases.
After World War II, we know that the crown moves from Paris to New York. The New York School of painters, the abstract expressionists, are all seeking a new and radical language for painting. I think of the yin to yang of Shiraga as Franz Klein, who is doing those kind of also incredible slashing choreographies with his arms and making paintings that look compositionally like they were made very quickly, but in sort of important archetypal gestures. Shiraga comes at it from a different place. I mean, Franz Klein is very much making paintings. When I see a big, thick, juicy Shiraga like this work, I think of them as both images and objects. Because the depth of the paint is so thick, it has like an object-like presence. It's really quite sculptural. What's remarkable about this work is the date, the fact that it's on canvas and not on paper, because he started his earlier works working on paper and then mounting them to canvas. The fact that there's sort of two circular gestures in motion, that's a very specific gesture for him and not one that he does so often. Red and black are really his signature colors, so you see both of those colors very well represented. This one is moody and brooding and intense and intelligent and like, pow, you know, it's very, very, very evocative. You are supposed to be thinking deep things when you look at this, and it works, it does that.
The color of black is very significant in his painting, and obviously it's a very familiar color to Asian audience because we use a lot of ink in our traditional paintings. Shiraga did mention that black is the most difficult color to work with because it's a color that can just come out really flat. But this painting gives you all the depths and layers, which explains the capability of Shiraga as an artist. Shiraga's importance is not just among the Gutai artists, but also he was very influential to the following Asian abstract artists as well. A lot of young Chinese artists who came to study and live in Japan were obviously very much aware of Gutai's success.
One of the things we've seen in the marketplace is that Shiraga has become an interesting and compelling artist to many American collectors who were collecting abstract expressionism. And they realize, after having Klein and Rothko and de Kooning and Mitchell, that the only way to really substantially grow in this field or in this sensibility is to look across geographies and to look at the artists that were influenced by the same energy and zeitgeist that the American ABEX artists were. And certainly Shiraga is chief among them.